Hello, football fans. Well, week 10 is come and gone. Yeah, 10. 10 weeks have passed in this wild season, and we're getting very, very close to that home stretch. But a bit more on that later. Let's talk about what took place during this wild week. Wow. You know, the Bengals and the Ravens liked putting on a great big show for us football fans, and they decided, let's give them an encore. So yeah, as I expected, this was a big, um, big dream game for us fantasy football people. Um, both the Bengals and the Ravens totally showed out, especially Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, and of course Jamar Chase. Well, Burrow and Chase for the Ravens. I mean the Bengals. I'm sorry. Um, and what was I doing while I was watching this? I was just thanking the good Lord that I had Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase starting for me on the same team. Ooh boy! I mean Jamar Chase, 55 fantasy points, 55 fantasy points. It's crazy. But despite that performance, they lost by one. And now there's talk that the coach needs to be fired. I mean, they're 4-6, even though Burrow and Chase are tearing up. Something is up. Meanwhile, the Ravens, yeah, they're continuing to be the real deal. I can't believe this happened. I really can't believe this happened. I mean, seriously, how big is the horseshoe up Kansas City's keister? I mean, seriously. I mean, they lost this game. Really, they lost this game. This was a loss, but the field goal was blocked, and the Chiefs escaped again. This is the worst 9-0 team I've ever seen. This team should be 5-4, maybe 4-5, maybe 4-1. This team can't keep winning games like this, and people need to stop kissing up to them and acting like they're this great juggernaut team when they're barely skating by. You know what their point difference? 9 games, mind you. You know what their point differential is? Plus 58. That's barely over 6 points a game. That's barely over a touchdown. No. They need to stop with that. When championship teams win games like that, no. You got to have some dominant wins. This isn't it. They're going to get beat. They're going to really punch their mouth. They're going to get beat one of these days. They are. And now on to a real AFC juggernaut known as the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers played in a dogfight against the Washington Commanders. It was a great game. And it ended with a Mike Williams touchdown, which ended up winning the game. Boy, that had to burn up Aaron Rodgers, didn't it? But yeah, Pittsburgh, they are kicking so much ass. They're 7-2, okay, and they've done it with grit, with a lot of grit, because the Steelers are one of the grittiest teams in the league. And now it sets up the clash between the Ravens and Steelers for first place. That's going to be a big one. And I'm very excited for that game, but more on the Week 11 schedule later. But yeah, the Steelers really pulled this out. You know, the Falcons really are an odd duck, aren't they? They have been really since 28-3. So they were playing against a Saints team who had a new coach and had lost 7 straight. Yet they couldn't score 20 on. They couldn't score 20 on them. And of all things, Young Hui Koo was missing field goals. My goodness. So yeah, it's a bit troubling. They are fortunate that the South isn't that good. I mean, Carolina just now won back-to-back games for the first time in 2 years. That game in Germany, which was the last international game of the season, and the Buccaneers barely lost to the 49ers, who had CMC back. So Yeah, but so yeah, even with this, the Falcons still have. I think it's safe to say they still have the division pretty much down pat. They just need to not get in their own way. Something they've done too many times. It's ironic that a sun rises over the Dallas Cowboys because their season is at a perpetual sunset. You know, this game was. Ugh. I watched this because, well, it's Philly and Dallas. You know, NFC East games. They're really good, but this was just a mess. The Cowboys, their season is done. Dak's out for the year. They have no running game, and CD is livid. It's a big mess. All the Eagles had to do was show up, and that was it. 34-6 was the final score. But it could be worse. It could be the Jets. The Jets lost 31-6 to Arizona. Arizona's still in first place at NFC West. And how about the Chargers? Huh? Congratulations to them. They're 6-3 at this point. I'm very happy for the Chargers. I want to see them actually playing football in January. That's going to be pretty good. Texans, you had one job. You had one job, and you fucked it up. I mean, how is it that a team leads by 16, intercepts Jared Goff 5 times, five, and you still lose? They didn't score a single point in the second half. They only got the field goal range once, and poor Kyrie Fairbairn hooked the thing. You know, it's ridiculous. That was the go-to I was counting on. Minnesota's playing Jacksonville. I did not hold my breath for that. Jacksonville sputtering, and they had T-Law out. I conceded that game. But this, I figured Houston would pull it out. They had it pulled out, and they didn't finish. So, yeah. Now people are kind of calling them frauds. Also, as a result of this game, nobody in the AFC South won because not only did Houston and Jacksonville lose, Indy lost to Buffalo. And, Indy lost to Buffalo, and Tennessee, that's who the Chargers beat. So, yeah. Monday Night Football, Rams and Dolphins. Rams, the offense was there, but the touchdowns weren't. 15 points. A lot of teams are scoring their points via the field goal. It's crazy. I've seen a lot of results like that, but yeah. The Rams, this is kind of not an easy chance. This is kind of like a given chance for them to stay in the NFC West hunt. They're still in it, but they're kind of behind with this loss. And as for Miami, well, who knows with them. Their season's, it's kind of kaput, but it kind of isn't, but it should be interesting. And I know we're not at the home stretch yet, but here are the standings after 10 weeks. And as you see, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Houston, all in first place. The AFC East is dead. The AFC West, well, it's not dead, but it's heading there. The North is pretty close, and Houston pretty much has the South pretty much set up, pretty much locked up. And you have the NFC standings right there. Still close in my division. The North. It's close to the East. It's pretty much close all around. Even the South is pretty close. But that's pretty much the picture entering after 10 weeks. So that is my recap of Week 10. Week 11 has a lot coming up, but during that NFL week, I have to talk about this. Yep, Week 11 of the NFL is also Grey Cup Day in the CFL. I haven't talked much Canadian football here, but I'm so giddy. My Argos are playing for the championship. We could win our second Grey Cup in 3 years, and it's against the Bombers. It's a rematch from 2022, and that's taking place this Sunday. It'll air on CBS Sports Network here in the States. As for Week 11, that'll kick off with the Commanders and Eagles in the NFC East battle. The Packers are back in action in Chicago. Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs, and Bills. That's a big one. And Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football is Bolts and Bengals. Monday Night Football, battle with Texas, Houston, and Dallas. So that is my recap. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. My story about Week 11, Week 10, my story about Week 10 will be featured. Check that when you can. And I'll be back around this time to recap Week 11. So stay tuned.